Just 1 mile away from the historic Gateway Arch sits a hockey arena home to a team with a blue note on its chest. We get set for a massive night inside that hockey arena. It's named Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri, and it plays host to the St. Louis Blues, hosting the Colorado Avalanche. Hello, one and all. My name is Jaric Rubel. Thankful to have you with me for tonight's game, and if Sunday's matchup between these two teams told us anything, it's that one game here tonight should be a battle. So beating Colorado once, challenging in itself, beating them twice, that is a whole different task, but that's exactly what the Blues are aiming to do here tonight after pulling out a gutsy 3-2 win in Denver just a couple of nights ago, as the hero Robert Thomas delivered a career milestone performance, recorded his first ever hat trick, including that game-winning goal late in the third period, and it was a statement win for a St. Louis team that is heating up at exactly the right time, as the Blues have been one of the hottest teams in the league since the Olympic break, stacking wins and climbing back into the conversation in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. They have a 13-3-3 record since returning from the Olympic break. They found the rhythm, confidence, and perhaps most importantly, belief in their locker room. And it's not just one line carrying the load. Young contributors like Jimmy Snuggerud and Dylan Holloway have stepped up and found themselves on the top line in a big way, with Robert Thomas complementing the production from the other players amongst their lineup, as we've seen Dalibor Dvorsky have a nice rookie campaign, Jake Neighbors chipping in as well on the third line, and Jordan Kyrou doing what he usually does. He's got 41 points on the campaign, bit of a down year for him, but still contributing when they need him to. But tonight they're going to face a Colorado team, and they don't stay quiet for too long, as the Avalanche may have dropped that last game, but make no mistake, this is still one of the most dangerous teams in the NHL. They've won 11 of their last 12 games here on the road, and they're sitting atop the league standings, and they're on the verge of locking up the President's Trophy for the best record in hockey. And so, of course, leading the charge, you could guess, it's superstar Nathan MacKinnon, who continues to put on his MVP caliber season. He's got 51 goals and 71 assists. He's one of the most explosive players in the game, and MacKinnon was held off the score sheet Sunday night on home ice against the St. Louis Blues. That's not something you hear all too often, and he is one goal shy here of a career-high 52nd lamplighter, so look for him to get off the schneid and back on the score sheet here in this game tonight. And the Avs are also getting contributions throughout the lineup as defenseman Brent Burns continues to defy time. And of course, forward Parker Kelly, this guy's got a 20-goal breakout campaign. So there's depth, experience, and no shortage of motivation to bounce back for the Avalanche tonight. And keep an eye on Valeri Nichushkin. He'll be rejoining the lineup with Brock Nelson and Gabriel Landeskog, adding yet another weapon to an already loaded Avalanche roster. And Nick Waugh will also be returning. He'll be on the third line with Kadri and Colton. So here we go, a red-hot Blues team trying to keep climbing in the West against an Avalanche squad looking to clinch the Western Conference's top seed in the playoffs. It's the second half of a home-and-home between St. Louis and Colorado. It's coming up next from the Gateway to the West. Puck drop and starting goalies are just moments away. You're listening to the NHL with Jaric Rubel, live right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. welcome back here to St. Louis, Missouri, where we're set for face-off on the second to last Tuesday night watch-along of the season. Jaric Rubel here with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, and before we drop the puck, let's go over tonight's starting goaltenders. In net for the St. Louis Blues, Joel Hofer gets the nod yet again, as this guy has been sensational since the Olympic break. As overall on the season, he has a record of 21-12-5 with a 2.56 goals against average and a .910 save percentage. And since the Olympic break, he is 9-1-2 with a 1.71 goals against average and a .943 save percentage, with 2 shutouts over the last month and a half. He'll be opposed by Scott Wedgwood. Best year he's had in the NHL, 28 wins in 42 games, 28-6-6 is his record, a 2.13 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. One heck of a year for Scott Wedgwood, as he leads all NHL goaltenders in both goals against average and save percentage with the numbers I just mentioned, and those wins are a career high for him. He's allowed 1 goal or fewer in 18 appearances this season. So we're set to drop the puck here tonight. Blues and Avalanche from Enterprise Center. The Blues in their older home uniforms, the dark blue uniforms with the navy blue shoulders. Got yellow along the shoulders as well with that traditional blue note. White numbers outlined in gold as they win the faceoff back into their own zone down to our left as they attack left to right in this opening period. The Avs control those. They have their road whites on with the blue pants and white helmets as a shot deflected right on, immediately stopped by Hofer as he's able to make his first stop of the game 13 seconds in. Faceoff upcoming to his left. That tip, by the way, coming from Parker Kelly as the Avalanche started the game with Drury, Kelly, and O'Connor. The other lines, McKinnon, Natchez, and Alekinen, Nelson with Nichushkin, Landeskog, then Kadri with Waugh and Colton. Defense pairings are Tays with Malinsky, Kulak with Manson, and Blankenberg with Burns. Still no Makar. For the Avalanche, they want to draw to the left of Hofer. Left point, here's Tays. A shot goes off the inside part of the right skate of Natchez, and now it deflects on the right wing boards near side. It's flipped out Snuggerud to Thomas over the right wing boards into the Avalanche zone. And now he button hooks at the right circle, does Robert Thomas. He'll ring it around the goal for Snuggerud, far corner down to our right. He gallops from low to high, backhanded it down low. This line of Thomas, Holloway, and Snuggerud outscoring teams 15-0 in the 166 minutes they've been together 5-on-5. As now they have to reset here at center ice as the Avalanche get a clear. Philip Broberg resetting here. Played it up ahead for Bob Tom. Had the hat trick a game ago. His drop pass for Mayu missed him. And it goes around the goal as Hofer came out to play it. Watch out for Hofer, or more so listen out for me calling him out, as he's aggressive behind his net playing the puck. Haven't seen someone quite like him since Pecorine down in Nashville. As now down to our right in the Avalanche zone, the Blues possess again. Straight away, Dvorsky had a shot go off the skate of Kadri. Comes out in front now back to Kadri, and on the near side it's bunted out by Manson. Now over the Blues line, it's played right back in front of the penalty boxes by Parayko. So Landeskog will reset as now the Avalanche peel back in their own zone with 90 seconds played in this opening period. Manson's pass through center missed everybody, so the Blues got it back. Lindstein, the rookie defenseman from his far side, played it on the near wall for Finley into the Avalanche zone. He's tied up and taken into the corner boards by Manson. Puck pried free and poked ahead now by Nelson. Nelson on the near side for Colton in front of the penalty boxes. Backhanded one for Nichushkin. It's punched away. If the Blues touch it, it's a hand pass. They do. So with 18:08 to go in the first period, we get ourselves another stoppage. And with that, let's look at the Blues lines for this game. I mentioned the top line of Thomas, Holloway, and Snuggerud. They've been sensational for the Blues. The second line, Dvorsky with Drouin and Kyrou. Drouin, an ex-Avalanche player. Suter between Neighbors and Berggren. Then Finley between Toropchenko and Bushnevich. That's the fourth line. They're on the ice now. They lost the draw as the Avalanche possessed with Colton on the ice with Nelson at the moment. And can't get the other winger on my side. There's Big Val as he's up there now as they're trying to get out of their own zone. And Toropchenko, another big number 13, plays for the St. Louis Blues. Put it around the Av goal to the far wall. Finley tried the center for Bushnevich, but his shot went off a skate back behind. Toropchenko trying to fight for it from Blankenberg. Couldn't, and it's poked along now for the Avs to get out. The Nichushkin lost it at the red line, but Colton's able to poke it into the St. Louis zone or out in the trapezoid. Hofer will play it on the near side. It's out. Played back now in possession of the Avalanche as Devon Toews put it on the logo. It's right to Suter, though, as now the Blues get possession back in front of the penalty boxes. Neighbors will wrist one in from the right side. Around the goal, it goes to the far corner, down to our right. It'll be Berggren poking it to the trapezoid. Neighbors hustles to it, as now he fights on his backhand to get past Drury. Lost an edge and fell over. Meanwhile, puck free to the near corner and sent up the boards and out by Parker Kelly. And now Lindstein in a foot race after it with O'Connor will get to it just in time as the icing whistle will go. With 17:03 to go in the first, an ozone draw coming back up for St. Louis. And let's take a look at their deep pairings real quick as we resumed play a little too soon last time. Broberg with Mayu, Lindstein with Parayko, and Fowler with Tucker. Everything pretty much unchanged except Tucker now primarily in the lineup on the back end for St. Louis after getting removed from the lineup was Matthew Kessel. Face off to the left of Wedgwood, won by the Blues, kept nicely by Parayko, straight ahead at the point. Now along the far boards, Thomas put it down low, far corner. Holloway on his backhand, works it to the left wing circle. Pivots to his forehand, cuts behind to the trapezoid, got upended, no call, we play on. As on the near side, it's Holloway. To the near corner, Thomas spins in front, trying to hit Lindstein on the back door, went past him. Holloway, though, retrieves off the far wing, cuts behind to the trapezoid, wraparound, went off a skate, back to the near corner, trying to get it for the Avalanche's Drury. Snuggerud ties him up down to our right. Puck free now up the boards, trying to get it to Kelly. He got it caught up in the skates of Parayko, as now they battle for it again near the right wing circle, down to our right. Parayko poked it free, it's sent by Thomas back to the right wing circle. Parayko made Kelly miss, tried a shot, deflected in behind. From that trapezoid, it's backhanded up by Devon Toews. It gets out to center, and at the Blue Note logo now taken back by Snuggerud on the re-entry. Dropped it right wing for Thomas, but he got his stick lifted by Drury. And now the Avalanche take back over. 4 minutes played in this first period. Just one shot for each team as Marty Necas in the top line gallops into the blue zone. Left wing, tried to send it across, went up Toropchenko's leg to the point. Kulak now goes across. Manson's shot went off a leg in the slot. Collected now on the far wall by Necas. Pass went off a leg. One arm now out the center by Finley. And the Avalanche have to skate back after it. Bad pass by Necas, sends it all the way back near his own goal line. Kulak now being outworked by Buchnevich, but Buchnevich got a puck taken away by Manson, who takes it back for the Avalanche behind his own net. So both teams changing here. 15:26 to go in the opening period as the Avalanche now knock it back down to our left in St. Louis ice, but Philip Broberg moves it up the wall once more, and now it's sent to the logo for Dvorsky. Snapped it in just past the red line, deflects to the far corner in the Avalanche zone. Kyrou couldn't get there. McKinnon will, as he'll flip it out to center. It bounces now in front of the benches, and it'll be collected back by the Blues. On the near wing, Tyler Tucker snaps one in from the red line. Around the goal, it goes to the far corner, Brent Burns. At the 1,000th game Ironman streak accomplished, just trying to get to the top and past Phil Kessel if he chooses to play one more year. Needs about 40 or 50 games to do so. I'd have to look at the exact number, but he has it on the far wall now in the blue zone. To the point, Kadri had a shot, knuckle to the near side. Blankenberg nudged it down low. Kadri put it back behind the Blues goal. On the far side, Fowler did a good job to get away from Nick Waugh, but he couldn't hit Kyrou at the logo as it's now sent right back in for the Avalanche to pursue down to our left. Waugh put it back behind the Blues goal on his backhand, put it in front. Kadri didn't have the angle as he got in too deep, and it shot to the far corner. Played back door, and Kadri's tip went wide. He has it at an awning cage, but just couldn't capitalize as it went off the wrong part of his stick. Now at the point, a shot there that came from Malinsky. Blocker down by Hofer. Now on the right wing on the rebound, Kyrou at the end of a shift will get on out and flip it in. So Malinsky back on it in his own zone, left it for Toews in the trapezoid. We've played 6 minutes now in this opening period. Good pace to this game. Not many shots, but there has been good flow. In between the benches, the Blues get it back. It's shot right towards Wedgwood. He doesn't like what he sees, so he'll take the whistle. And with 13:48 to go in the first period, that'll send us to our first timeout, so I'll step aside. Back in 90 seconds. You're listening to the Blues and Avalanche right here on the Ultimate Sports YouTube channel. Welcome back to St. Louis. Scoreless hockey so far through the first 6 minutes between the Blues and the Avalanche. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Mentioned Robert Thomas had a hat trick on Sunday against these Avalanche. He's been everything the Blues have needed since returning from injury in March. He's currently on a 5-game point streak. He's got 5 goals, 5 assists in that span, and he was also named the NHL's 3rd star of the week, ending in April 5th. After that hat trick performance in Colorado on Sunday. So Robert Thomas scorching hot here for this St. Louis team. Face-off here in the O-zone for the Blues to the right of Wedgwood, down to our right in the far face-off circle. And we'll have to do this face-off again as it looks like it was dropped unfairly. So Pius Suter will appear to get tossed out. And now looking to take this draw for St. Louis will be Jake Neighbors against Brock Nelson. So off the draws, won back by Neighbors cleanly, as now on the far wall, Lindstein played it right to the slot, but it's taken up by Kulak and played the center, and now nudged to Nelson, who's over the Blues line. From the slot, a shot right into the glove of Hofer it goes, and he'll hold for a whistle with 13:36 to go in the opening period. So these two teams here meeting for the 3rd and final time this regular season. If the Blues match up with the if the Blues make the playoffs, it's the only matchup they'll have is the Colorado Avalanche, as they're 4-1 in their last 5 games here against Colorado. They've won back-to-back games here in Enterprise Center against the Avalanche. So we'll see if they could get a very important 2 points tonight, or if the Avalanche end up clinching the top seed in the Western Conference. They win a faceoff to the right of Hofer. Here's Nichushkin between the circles, played it across, and a shot right on, saved by Hofer again with some traffic in front, as that shot came from the far boards through a maze of players. And with 13:26 to go, we'll have another faceoff in the O-zone for Colorado, as the Avalanche here traveling to take on the Blues in this second half of the home and home, as they have 6 games left on the schedule, 3 at home, 3 on the road. I mentioned in the open they've won 11 and 12 at home, but they've only won 3 of their last 10 on home ice, so it's dramatically different between the two, splits there. As off a face-off win for the Avalanche, Malinsky put one right on with a one-timer off the right pad of Hofer. It got kicked all the way back out through neutral. So now the Avalanche rekindle here with 13 minutes to go in this opening period. Devontae's in front of the penalty box, snaps one into St. Louis ice, ricochets to the far wall, up the boards it goes, and now it's sent to the slot where it'll be carried out by Mailloux. Top line on the ice for the Blues as Holloway drags his skate to stay onside, but Mailloux's pass got cut off, and now on the near side, Natchez is out. Fed it across McKinnon, bouncing puck, couldn't grab it over the Blues line. On the far wall now, it's Broberg up ahead for Holloway. Had a bouncing puck go over the line for Thomas, couldn't hit Snuggerud, and now the Avalanche McKinnon backhanded one out to center again. Natchez left it at the Blues blue line, but it's taken back by Holloway, who now lost it, and now Taze will snap it back in on the near side. Hofer to play it, and a whistle with 12:30 to go now in the first, I believe, for an offside on Colorado. So a neutral zone faceoff coming up here in a matter of moments. But starting tonight here against the Avalanche for the Blues, they will play 4 of their next 5 games at Enterprise Center to finish their home schedule. Their lone road game will be game 82 as they'll head to Utah in what could be a very important game. It could be the game that gets them into the playoffs if they get to that point. Obviously, they need to just keep winning. They're going to need some help. The Kings are going to have to lose. The Preds will have to lose, and the Sharks will have to do the same. But good for the news for the Blues is they have the tiebreaker in all scenarios if that ends up being the case. So we'll see how this all plays out. Face off to the left of Wedgwood, won by the Blues. Fowler corrals and loses it at his own blue line. That's not great. Now the Blues have to reset, as now Fowler in his own end in front of his own blue paint. Played it up to Kyrou, straight ahead over the Blues logo. Now the Avalanche blue line. Dropped it, lost it. Now Waugh takes it, and it's nudged ahead for Kadri. Near wall, here's Landeskog over the Blues line. Got tied up, but it's left at the left wing circle for Waugh, cutting behind the Blues goal on his backhand. Pivots now. Got tied up, though, on the wall by Fowler as he loses possession, and on the near side, Tucker will move it up the right wing boards. Touched up to Dvorsky, couldn't get it out. Now Kadri can't keep it in, as he was try to play it in with his body, but it ended up getting outside the line, said the linesman. So a neutral zone faceoff coming up here with 11:51 to go yet again. So the Avalanche here could earn their 27th road win of the 2025-26 season and establish their second highest single season total in franchise history, behind the 2022-23 campaign when they had 29 wins on the road. And now off a face-off here in front of the St. Louis bench, a tie-up's going to be pushed on the far wall. And now Neighbors and O'Connor trying to dig it out for their respective teams. Suter as well trying to get in there, trying to lodge it free with his right skate, as it's now stuck there still in front of the Blues bench. It's finally poked, and now free. The Avalanche, Parker Kelly will backhand it in. Kelly in his recent games has 8 points in his last 6, as he has 5 goals and 3 assists over that span, but the Blues come up with the puck and come away through neutral. Played near the blue paint as Wedgwood had to stick it to the near wall. Kelly up ahead for Drury over the red line. Now the Blue left wing into the St. Louis zone. Put it behind the trapezoid. Hofer again, just stick checked it to the near side through some bodies that were near the trapezoid as well, as now the Blues get possession. Broberg banked it up the far right, left wing boards for Berggren, I should say, as now it's turned over and the Avalanche get it back. Straight ahead Kelly, left it left wing side for O'Connor. Back to Kelly, a one-timer, and that got the glass. Back to the far point. Burns let it go. That ended up getting ricocheted out of play with 10:47 here remaining in the opening period. Mentioned Brent Burns appeared in his 1,000th consecutive game on Saturday afternoon in Dallas. He joined Phil Kessel, who had 1,064 straight games as the only players in NHL history to dress in 1,000-plus straight contests. So he passed Keith Yandel, who had 989 for the second longest Ironman streak in history. Now he's got about 60 games left before he catches Phil. So if Burns plays next year, potentially can get the all-time Ironman streak. Face off here to the left of Hofer. One snapped on net by Nichushkin of the Avalanche, but it deflects off a skate out of play. So we'll do things over again with 10:45 remaining in the opening period. 5 shots for the Avalanche, 2 for the Blues, as this face-off's at the far circle down to our left. One by Nelson, backhanded down low by Burns, and in the trapezoid, it ricocheted off Colton and came to Jack Finley. Finley now up ahead. The Blues have numbers if they hurry the other way. Far wing, Berggren hunting it down, played it in front, off a skate, ricocheted to the trapezoid. Burns with it for the Avalanche, snapped it straight ahead. It went off the arm of Toropchenko, and now at the logo, Lindstein turned it over to Nelson, and it's Nichushkin in a one-timer there, blocker down by Hofer to the near boards. On the near side, it's kicked ahead by Bushnevich, not out though, as Taze will throw it, and it'll go right into the glove of Hofer. And with 10:13 to go in the second period, he takes another whistle and another ozone draw here coming up for the Avalanche. It's in this first period. Season long, they have a plus 32 goal differential. That's the best in the NHL, outscoring teams 92-60 in the opening 20 minutes. Still searching for the game's first goal here in this one, as a face-off to the left of Hofer's won by the Blues top line, as Thomas got it to Snuggerud, who banked it off the right wing boards into the Avalanche zone, but Natchez is on it behind his own net. Forte's on the far wall. Now on the near side, it's Malinsky at the red line in front of the penalty boxes, snapped it in off the glass. It goes rolling towards Hofer, and it went off his skate back to the trapezoid. Dangerous play there, as Hofer didn't know where it was. As now back through center, the puck will roll down to our right in the Avalanche zone. Lehkonen will play it, left it for Natchez, who leaves it in the near corner for Taze. He flips the biscuit out to the red line. Trying to get to it was Lehkonen, but it was poked away from him to Thomas, who flings it back to Broberg, who now goes this way to Mayu, as the Blues now skate out of their own defensive zone. Past the penalty boxes, Mayu backhanded one into the near corner. Ricochets now through the trapezoid to the far, where Brett Kulak pitchforked one back to neutral ice. Broberg will twist with it back on his blade and send it right again into Avalanche territory as the Blues get some fresh skaters on. 9:15 to go in this opening period. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. I'll be back with you Thursday as well for the Blue Jackets and Sabres, as it's a playoff atmosphere in Buffalo. The Blue Jackets fighting for their playoff lives. It'll be a fun one on Thursday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Now the Avalanche, a down and outer left side. Kulak put it on net. Save Hofer. Rebound came in the area of Landeskog, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Meanwhile, at the left wing circle, it's thrown up to Kadri. His shot off the pads of Hofer. Rebound far circle gathered by the Blues, as now taking it and galloping with it is Jake Neighbors through center. Played it into the near corner. Going after it now is Burns for the Avalanche. Had it go off a skate of Durant. It'll come right to Wedgwood, and he'll put a paw on it for a whistle. And And with 8:30 to go in this opening period, we'll step aside again as Joel Hofer with a couple of good saves, the latest on Brett Kulak, keeping it scoreless here in St. Louis. Jaric Rubel back with you here in Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Scoreless hockey between the Blues and the Avalanche. And those Avalanche were the first team to clinch a playoff spot back on March 20th, as it is their 9th consecutive trip to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. That's with Tampa Bay for the longest active streak in the NHL. They're also looking to become the first team to win their division, as they could win their division tonight here with a win, as the Hurricanes could also do that if they get at least 1 point versus the Bruins. So it's looking likely like the Hurricanes will get at least a point in that game against the Bruins, as they're up 5-3 at the moment in the second period. So if the Avs win tonight, they'll be the first in the West, but the second in the NHL to clinch their division, as they came down into the St. Louis zone, and Burns put a shot towards Hofer. It was a very weak wrister that he was able to glove easily, and he'll hold that with 8:16 to go here in this first period. And a face-off upcoming here in the O-zone for the Avalanche to the right of the goaltender Joel Hofer. So it'll be Nelson, Colton, and Nichushkin for this draw for the Avalanche. Meanwhile, for the Blues, it'll be Finley, Bushnevich, and Toropchenko. The Avalanche win it. Burns goes for a one-timer from Nichushkin straight on, held and grabbed by Hofer. As with 8:11 to go in the first, another O-zone face-off is upcoming for the Avalanche. And meanwhile, talking about the Avalanche, that top line's been great here against St. Louis, as Nate just recorded 10 points in 12 contests against the Blues. He's got 5 goals, 5 assists. Meanwhile, McKinnon, 57 points, 21 goals, 36 points in just 52 regular season games against the Blues. He torched them in the playoffs in that second round series in 2022, as now the Avalanche won an O-zone draw, but they can't keep it in, as Nelson had it hop off his blade, so they just have to blister a puck right back down to our left and get back to work. Nelson on the left wing boards, dropped it to Blankenberg, left point, played it across, Burns a wrister, missed the net, came up the near wall, will it get out? It won't. Pitchforked back deep by Blankenberg. Big Val working against Parayko. Parayko spun him out of position, moved it up the wall now, and it's taken by the Blues. Out to center, Suter chipped it into the right wing corner of the Avalanche zone down to our right. Burns played it up the far wall, deflected to center, grabbed back by the Blues. Here's Mayu from the red line. Kitty cornered it to the far side. It's a delayed offside, though, as Suter was still in the zone. And now as both teams change, the Avalanche motor up ahead with the top line. Here's McKinnon on the red line. Played it left wing Lehkonen over the Blues blue line. Played it off the boards to the far point Malinsky, who slid it this way for Taze. His long wrister grabbed by Hofer, sliding to his left. And he'll take it for another whistle with 7:16 to go in the first. That's his 10th save here of the period in the first 12 minutes and 44 seconds. And I mentioned since the return from the All-Star, or the Olympic break, I beg your pardon, Hofer has posted a 9-1-2 record, a 1.71 goals against average, and a 943 save percentage. Also has 2 whitewashes in the span. Binnington, who played in those Olympics, 4-2-1 as well, with a 1.47 or 7-4. With a 925 save percentage. See if he gets the start against Winnipeg, as some reason Montgomery played him the last time against Winnipeg, and it ended up in a regulation defeat as the Blues have not beaten the Winnipeg Jets with Binnington in goal since November of 2021. Again, that's regular season, not postseason. So we'll see what the decision is on Thursday, as Hofer here has to cover a puck to his right that deflected off the end boards as Lehkonen was in the area. So another face-off coming up here at 6:50 in the opening 20 minutes, as it looks like the top line of McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Necas is going to stay on the ice for this ozone draw, as the Avalanche keep pressing here for the game's opening goal. The Blues trying to get more than just 2 shots on net, as they haven't mustered up a whole lot without the top line of Thomas, Snuggerud, and Holloway on the ice. As now face-off here, Landeskog joins McKinnon and Necas, not Lehkonen. So off the draw, though, the Avs get it. McKinnon far circle, dropped it back, and a shot from Malinsky went over the crossbar and came up the left wing boards. Now here's Taves trying to keep it tied up along near the blue line. Buchnevich grabbed it, can't get it out. McKinnon slid it far wall. Malinsky back this way for Landeskog. The pass was behind his blade, and Parayko has it and played it out the center for Buchnevich. Skates east to west, now on the far side over the line. Played it back this way for Finley, who spun it around the goal. To the far corner down to our right. Malinsky will drop it off, and it'll be taken by Necas. He'll gallop up through the neutral ice straight ahead. Left at left wing boards for Kadri. And now in the corner, Landeskog back along the wall. Played to Kulak. Off a leg in front. Came to the trapezoid for Kadri. Pass, though, went awry. Came to Kyrou on the far side. And now he skates it himself to center. Over the red line. Now far wall into the Avalanche zone is Dvorsky. Pulled up at the half boards. Tried to leave it for Kyrou. It went off a skate. Came to Kulak, who plays it off the glass. Doesn't get out yet. Now does, as it'll be sent on in by the Avs, who want to change. Hofer will stick it to the far corner. And Lindstein will play it up to Neighbors. Now Dvorsky at the Blue Note logo will snap it back into the Avalanche side of things, as there's now 5:30 remaining in this first period. The Blues just with 2 shots on goal, the Avalanche with 11. Still no goals in this one. Behind the goal to our right, the Blues go to work in the O zone. Dvorsky on the far left wing boards, played it back in the trapezoid. Nobody home as Lehkonen will take it for Colorado. Across now for Manson, who spins back as the Avs want to change. He'll sit now in the trapezoid down to our right, as now he'll look to start it up ahead on the near wing. Here's Parker Kelly over the red line, backhanded it right onto Hofer. He'll stick it through the trapezoid, as he never wants to freeze the puck. He loves to keep it moving. As Berggren now with it for the Blues on the near side, scoots through center. Waiver claim from Detroit was Berggren. Left it on the near wall over the Avalanche line for Neighbors, who backhanded it deep. Came on the far wall. Broberg kinda backhanded it to Berggren, but Burns took it away. And it doesn't get out. It stayed onside, and now into the zone. Suter again. On the near wall, it's dropped down low to Berggren, protecting with one hand on his stick against Kelly. Ran out of racetrack. And now on the far side, taking the puck is Drury. Drury now will scoot back again as the Avs are changing once more. 4:25 remaining in the first period, as now Brent Burns played it onto the logo. It deflected off an arm, came right to the right wing for Snuggerud, but his pass for Thomas was taken back by Nichushkin and thrown into the blue zone. Parayko got spun around. Nelson will get there. Played it back. One-timer. Right pad save. Hoper from the stick of Malinsky. Has it back now far point. Put it in the slot. Big Vala's shot deflected over the crossbar to the near side. Out of the corner, Snuggerud played it up. Holloway will chip it ahead past the penalty boxes. Nichushkin, though, got it right back. Slid it far wall. Into the zone come the Avs again. Ross Colton to the back for Malinsky. Straight ahead. Taves a shot off the crossbar and in! The Avalanche strike first on a long wrister by Devon Taves that's tipped home by Valeri Nichushkin. And it's 1-0 Colorado. So 16th goal of the year for Big Val. Missed the game the other night, but rejoins the lineup here and gets the first goal of the game, as the Avalanche, with a long wrister from Devon Taves, got that tip right on top of the blue paint, went right under the crossbar as it went off the inside part of the stick of Nichushkin. It went off the near post, off the crossbar, and into the back of the net. So Val Nichushkin is 16th of the year from Taves and Malinsky. And the Avalanche lead it 1-0. In the previous game, the Blues responded nicely after going down 1-0 and 2-1. We'll see what they do here in this game as the Avalanche respond with the top line on the ice, but they turn it over, and now the Blues the other way with Toropchenko on the far wing. Played it behind the Avalanche goal, going after it's Kulak and Buchnevich. Kulak got it on the far wall. Nature's a nice pass for McKinnon. He'll turn and take through neutral. Got poke checked by Mayu at the Blues blue line. Now in front of the penalty boxes, it's taken back Lehkonen. Tried to feed Nature's, tied up with Mayu. Now at the logo, grabbed by McKinnon into the far zone, into the blue side of the ice. Dropped it off to Nature's. Slid it this way, Blankenberg. Blankenberg in the slot. Burns pivoting at the left wing circle now. Between the circles, far dot. Now it's Blankenberg. Cutting behind the Blues net. Played it in front of right pad. Save by Hofer. Point blank on Lehkonen. As that was a beautiful setup by Blankenberg. But Hofer with a good right pad save. And it's going to take us to break one last time in this opening period. 2:54 remain. The Avalanche lead it 1-0 on a goal by Valeri Nichushkin. Back here in St. Louis, where the Blues trail the Colorado Avalanche 1-0 on a goal by Big Val Nichushkin on a wrist shot set up by Devontae. He tipped it in on top of the blue paint. And when scoring first this year, the Avalanche are 36-2-5. The Blues 9-20-4 when giving up the game's first goal, as there's 2.5 remaining here in this opening period. And if the score holds when leading through 20 minutes, the Avalanche have not lost in regulation. They're 28-0-4. The Blues 4-16-2 when trailing after the first. So big final few minutes here for the Blues if you want to base it off of a good 78 game sample size of the Colorado Avalanche. They're pretty good when carrying the lead into the dressing room after 20 minutes. So face-off coming up here in the O-zone for Colorado. Face-off will be to the right of Hofer, as it'll be Thomas out there against Kadri for the draw. Kadri pulls it back for the Avalanche, and Burns turned it right over to Thomas, but his stick got lifted. Now it's taken back by Burns. Tried to feed Kadri at the far circle, had to get it back, slug it down low. Landeskog, the Avalanche captain, on top of the paint. Now Kadri gave it back. Landeskog again, a shot rode up and hit Hofer in the blocker. Pinball to the slot. Watt trying to grab it. Fowler poked it away from him and backhanded it behind his own net for Tucker, as Tucker will sling it up ahead, straight ahead. Now a 2-on-1 developing for the Blues. Here's Holloway for Thomas right side, but Burns deflected the pass wonderfully, as he had a great game defensively in Colorado against these Blues as well 48 hours ago. Broke up an odd man rush there for St. Louis, and now the Avalanche get possession back. Blankenberg in his own zone dropped it off for Brent Burns. He takes a look now in the trapezoid as the Avs change again. Put it on the near boards for Kelly. Had it poked away. The Blues trying to force a turnover. Couldn't grab it. Possession, though. As now past the penalty boxes, it's put on Parayko's blade, so now they'll get it. On the near side, Berggren will put it deep around the Avalanche goal. It'll go for Neighbors, but it's taken away by Manson and put back out the center. Right now the Blues have to reset as Berggren put it off the near side glass. Banks around now in neutral ice. Drury ties up Berggren, and Parker Kelly comes up with it for the Avalanche as he drops to Kulak. Kulak, though, played it right back to the Blues in neutral ice as they try and enter right back in on the near wing. Here's Berggren again, shouldering off Drury at the half boards. Pivots on the near side, one hand on his stick, now gets back to his forehand, dropped it down low for Suter. He got poke checked. Dvorsky now trying to get away from Manson. Canton. Big Val will take the puck in the final 75 of the first. On the far side, turned it over. The Blues get it back. Here comes Suter once more. Duran, I should say. On the near wall, Kyrou in with a shot. Punch down Wedgwood. Rebound up through the slot. Grab Mayu. To the near side now, Dvorsky in front. Bank to the slot. Grab back up by Mayu. Final minute of the first. Right wing boards Kyrou. Down behind the Avalanche goal. Trade spots with Drouin. The former Avalanche played it back down low, but it went in possession of McKinnon. And now up the boards it goes for Kulak to stash it into St. Louis ice. Behind the Blues goal, it'll be grabbed. Taken now by Broberg, poked away, and now hits set up in front. McKinnon missed the net with a one-timer. Banked it up to the point, though, left side for Tays. Threw it across right circle. Here's Natchez off the right pad of Hofer. Rebound now cleaned up Mayu. Put up the boards, not out. Lehkonen in front. McKinnon a shot. Rebound off the post and in again. As Natchez this time makes it 2-0 Colorado. So Marty Natchez, this guy loves playing on the road. He finds another road marker, his 12th straight here away from Ball Arena, and it's his 37th goal on the season as St. Louis is down 2-0 here after two first period goals tipped in off the post by the Avalanche. So this time it was Lehkonen in the slot for McKinnon. He got it backdoor for Natchez, and he again under the bar into the back of the net for Colorado as Hofer's been beat upstairs twice in this period, and the Avalanche hold a 2-0 lead. Here's Robert Thomas trying to cut it in half at the moment before we go to intermission, but he backhands it down low behind the Colorado net. On the near side, Parayko. In front, Holloway lost his balance, drew a penalty, though, as the Blues will go to the power play, as there's 2.6 seconds left in this period, but they'll get a man advantage here. Likely for the second period. It'd be a miracle if they got to go with 2.6 seconds left, but you never know what could happen. And it's going to be a trip to Devon Tays. So St. Louis will get a power play opportunity against the best PK in all of hockey, as the Colorado Avalanche have surpassed the Blackhawks for the #1 spot. They're 84% on the year. Meanwhile, the Blues penalty or power play is 28th in the NHL at 17.6%. The Blues rookies, though, have accounted to 16.7% of the Blues goals this season. They have 9 of them coming on the power play, and the Avalanche win this draw that'll kill the rest of the period. So we head to intermission with the Blues having a power play to begin the second, down 2 goals to the Avalanche, as Colorado with goals in this first period by Valeri Nichushkin and Marty Natchez lead it here. Through 20 minutes of play, they dominated the opening 20 minutes too, as they outshot St. Louis 17-3, as head coach Jim Montgomery was not pleased on the St. Louis bench, as again, it was Big Val, his 16th of the year from Tays and Malinsky, and then Marty Natchez, 37th of the year from McKinnon and Lehkonen, as Nathan McKinnon gets his way back onto the score sheet, and the Avalanche with a 2-0 lead here. Through 20 minutes of play, they got out hit heavily, 14-5 in that period, but again, they outshot St. Louis 17-3. Block shots, 7 for St. Louis, 5 for Colorado. And again, the Avs are 28-0-4 when leading through 20 minutes this season. So we'll step aside for intermission. Stick around for the middle frame as the Blues have a power play to begin the second period. You're listening to an NHL Watchalong right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel with Jaric Rubel. Avalanche lead the Blues 2-0 after 20 minutes. Welcome back into St. Louis, where after 20 minutes, the Blues trail the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 2-0. Goal scored by Valeri Nichushkin, his 16th of the year from Devon Toews and Sam Malinsky. Then Marty Necas, 37th of the year from McKinnon and Lehkonen, with 28 seconds left in the first period. My name is Jaric Rubel, so I welcome you all back in for the second period. The Blues began period 2 with a minute 58 seconds of power play time as Devon Toews took a tripping penalty in the final 2 seconds of the opening period, so they get time with the man advantage in a very important middle period. This game right here is basically the St. Louis Blues season. I don't think that they obviously aren't mathematically eliminated after this or anything, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb if they do not get 2 points tonight. If they get a point or two tonight, I mean, they still can get help along the way as long as they keep getting points and winning, but they need something in the standings tonight if they want any shot at that final seed, and it'll be a good test against the team that they would likely play if they get that final seed. So why not try and come back a game against the Colorado Avalanche playoff style? And we'll see if the Avs could hang on here and clinch the Western Conference and the President's Trophy. And obviously, we all know what the President's Trophy has meant for its winners over the course of the last 15 years or so. Only the Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup. That happened in a shortened season. It wasn't a full season. And only the Rangers have made the conference final when winning that trophy since 2009, as they made it to the conference final in 2015 and 2024. But nobody else has made it past the second round. So we get set for period 2 here from St. Louis, as again the Blues start period 2 with the man advantage, and we'll see if they could capitalize, as again their power plays 28th in the NHL. It's not great, 17.6%. The Avs PK is the best in all of hockey at 84%. So Thomas against Drury for this draw. The Blues attacking right to left in this middle period, and the Avalanche going left to right. As off the draw, Drury beats Thomas. It goes to Burns. He snaps it down, and period 2 begins with the Blues power play chasing back. So here's Broberg. After Hofer left it for him, he'll leave it at the Blues blue line for Thomas. Left it at the logo Holloway. Bashed it far wall, Snuggerud over the Avalanche line. Tied up with Kelly, lost it, came to Manson, and he'll send it down the ice. This Avalanche PK has been so good to watch, as the other night out against St. Louis as well. They were terrific. This Blues power plays 0 for 7 in the season series against the Avalanche, as Thomas now to the logo for Holloway. Played it out of the reach of Snuggerud on the far wall, but Holloway was able to get it and play it down low, but Manson put it up the wall, and it'll get back out the center. And now Lehkonen trying to race on it over the blue line, couldn't keep the handle, as now it goes beneath for Broberg. Got it away from O'Connor, but now it came up to the blue line for Malinsky. Out of position, Neighbors trying to hurry ahead, got it on Thomas's blade near side. Over the Avalanche line, played it across, Neighbors shot, goes behind into the trapezoid. Thomas digs it out, 53 to go on the St. Louis power plays. They get set up. Thomas far right wing circle, played it to the point for Broberg. Back to Thomas, far circle, on goal, tipped in a save made by Wedgwood with Buchnevich on the doorstep, and now their Avalanche will get the clear. So 40 seconds remain for the Blues. They're quickly back in. Odd man rush up the left wings. Buchnevich got it in front. Kyrou tipped it wide past the glove side of Wedgwood. On the far side, Big Val now will send it back down the ice, as under a half minute remains on this St. Louis power play. Back at the logo, Buchnevich turned it over right on Nelson's blade. Played it in Big Val, straight in, through the legs, he scores! Short-handed Big Val, what a goal! And the Avalanche lead 3-0. Second of the game and 18th of the year for Valeri Nichushkin. It comes on the heels off a big right pad saved by Wedgwood a moment ago. And then back down the ice come the Avalanche, shorthanded off a Buchnevich turnover. And Nelson played it straight in for Nichushkin. He went through the legs in the slot as Hofer was moving to his left. Shot it to his right, and it went off of Hofer's goal stick and trickled past the goal line, as Nichushkin with a beautiful one has the Avalanche up 3-0, as now the Blues have a final 15 seconds of power play time to work with, but it gets sent back into their territory, and that will kill off the rest of the time. So a 3-0 deficit in St. Louis as they're staring down the barrel of what's potentially an elimination game. While not mathematically, it will certainly feel that way, as now Manson ends up icing the puck here for Colorado. So a stoppage with 17:54 to go in the second period, and an ozone draw coming up for the Blues, who are getting absolutely schooled in this one as they're getting outshot 18-2, as they were credited with 3 shots in the first period, but apparently they took one away. And they didn't even give one to Robert Thomas on that right pad save by Wedgwood, even though he put it right off that pad, but only 2 shots credited here for St. Louis in this game through 22 minutes. Off an ozone win by Finley. It's to the back, Lindstein towards the net. His shot got blocked. Now here's Big Val for a breakaway in the hat trick. From the blue line in, right wing dot to the forehand, and a save made by the stick of Hofer, who poked at it, as Nichushkin here looking for a hat trick early in this one, ends up getting stopped by Hofer. So the Blues just have no answers at the moment for anything this Avalanche team is doing. They try and get back in on the far wing to the Av zone, but Devon Tays will smack it right back out to center. And now the Blues will wrist it right back in as they make a change. Brent Burns behind his own net. Put it up the right wing boards for McKinnon, who now skates between the dots, turned it over. Suter has it. Now on the far wall, here's Kyrou. His shot, and a blocker save by Wedgwood. Kept in left point Broberg. Along the left wing side, Drouin goes across. Flipped on net. Save Wedgwood. Rebound to the far corner. Grabbed again by the Blues Broberg. Down low, played it for Dvorsky. He's tied up with Tays. McKinnon backhanded it, but right to Kyrou. His shot gloved by Wedgwood on top of the crease. And he'll hold with 16:52 to go here in the second period. So 3-0 Colorado. As here's a look at the Nichushkin breakaway try that I'll try to re-describe. A shot by Lindstein went right off a leg, and then it ricocheted back to neutral, and Big Val raced after it from the near right wing in. And then from the slot, his shot went right off the crest of Hofer, that blue note on his chest, as he made the save and poked it to the far side. Blues win a draw in the ozone. Here's Thomas behind the goal in front for Snuggerud, and he put it up over top of the net. Holloway now back on the left wing side, put it down low for Snuggerud out of the far corner. Defending him is Kulak, pushing out of the near side. Thomas out of the far corner, or near corner. Played it to the goal, blocked in front by Kadri, came to Holloway on the left wing side. On his backhand, left it along the boards for Fowler to pool cue it down low. Picked off though by Kulak, backhanded up, not out, grabbed again by Holloway. He's tied up now on the near side with Nick Waugh, as now the puck comes up to the blue line. Fowler slides it across. Tucker a shot, ricochets to the far side. Thomas now right wing circle in front. Holloway backhander, save with the glove by Wedgwood, came out of it to the far side. Thomas now on it again. This top line trying to get one back for the Blues as Thomas behind the goal, played it in front. Holloway couldn't get a stick on it as it now rolls out the center, and the Blues have to get back on it as Tucker will shoot it right back in. Around the Avalanche goal, it'll go to the far side. Parker Kelly tries to move it out. It gets out as now Tucker gets tied up, and the Avalanche are ahead 2-on-1. Far side, sent to the middle. Waugh, back door, and a shot save. Hofer on the backhand try by Kadri, as it now came back up the wall from Landeskog to the point. Malinsky's shot blocked. Berggren ricocheted out the center, and now the Avalanche group with Tays in the back end resets, as now he threw it back into St. Louis ice. Lindstein will launch it back the other way for the Blues. Now into Colorado territory. Here's Neighbors, played it down low. Suter collects now out of the far corner, played it to the back. Parayko, his shot, right pad save. Wedgwood kicked up through the slot. Here come the Avalanche again. Up ahead, Logan O'Connor collects over the Blues line. Far left wing, makes Lindstein miss. Pivots now in the far corner. Tried to play it back to Drury, had to try again. Now got it to him. Left it at the far left wing for Malinsky. His shot into the glove of Hofer it goes, and he holds with 14:59 to go here in the second period. 21 shots now for the Avalanche, just 4 for the St. Louis Blues. And yeah, St. Louis has given up 3, but Joel Hofer's been a dog in net, as he's come up with plenty of good saves for the Blues, as this game could easily be 5 or 6 goals for the Avalanche. And Wedgwood, too, at the other ends, come up with some big stops on the top line for St. Louis. But overall, the Blues, if it's not Thomas, Holloway, and Snuggerud, just no answers really to put towards Scott Wedgwood. Face off in their D zone, though, is won by Finley, as now he gets a return pass out to center. Left wing Toropchenko shot off the pads to the far wing. Here now Buchnevich played it back to the point. Thrown towards the net, deflected in behind. Finley can't grab it. Burns will. Now on the near side, Nate just turned it out. At the logo, Manson nudged it on the far side for Nelson. It's as far as he'll get, as now the Blues take it back, and a pass up ahead deflects off of Manson to the far side. And Burns will play it right back into St. Louis territory. This might be an icing. It won't be, as Broberg has to play it behind his own net. Plays it now off the far wing. To neutral it goes, and it's collected back by Broberg on a return from Thomas. On the near side into the Avalanche zone. He cuts behind the goal. Puck taken off his blade by McKinnon. Popped in front. Thomas backhander went through the crease to the near side. Here now is the Blues again. Broberg playing it behind. Buchnevich not there to grab it. Back up the near wall. It's poked to Natchez, and now to center it goes. On the near side, it's grabbed by the Avalanche. Lekanen in front. Put over the crossbar on a setup play for Kelly on top of the paint, as now the Blues rekindle back in their own zone. The Avalanche here getting plenty of chances off the rush, as the Blues are starting to take chances here, down 3-0 early. And now Thomas can't get cleanly over the Avalanche blue line, and now it's turned back by Colorado. Far side into the Blues zone. It's sent down low for Nichushkin. Backhanded up high left point. Now in between the circles, Taves found Malinsky, whose shot went through and off the end boards. And behind in the St. Louis zone, Tucker will put it up the wall, not out. At the right point, Malinsky goes across Taves, touch to Nichushkin. Played it now to the near corner. Lifted the stick was Nelson on Fowler. Puck came to Nichushkin, but it went off the leg at Thomas. And now the Blues the other way. Here comes Snuggerud. Back on the left wing for Thomas. Played in the slot. Tucker. Backdoor Holloway. Fanned on the shot. Now down low in the far corner. He goes to one knee to try and keep it away from Taves, as now the net's off its moorings at the other end of the ice. No whistle yet, as the puck now comes to Hofer with 13:02, and he'll just collect it and cover, as that'll send us to break with just over 13 minutes remaining in the second period. Avalanche dominating here in St. Louis. Actually, looks like we might be staying right here at the moment, as there's now talk going on with official Wes McCauley and Joel Hofer, as we haven't gone to a commercial break yet. And now it looks like as soon as I come back, they're going to go to one. But I don't know if a penalty's coming up for goalie interference or not. But I'll step aside once again. Thought we were back, but with 13:02 to go, we'll step aside. You're listening to the Avs and Blues right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Now I'm back here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 3-0 Colorado on 2 goals by Big Val. He's got 5 this season now against the St. Louis Blues, and the other one scored by Marty Natchez, as Natchez is up to 37 on the year. It's 17 on the year for Big Val. and there was no penalty issued out for goaltender interference when the net came off its mooring, so we're going to stay 5-on-5, as Joel Hofer's argument did not work out. So we'll see where this face-off is here. It's to the left of Joel Hofer with 13:02 to play in period number 2. Blues season basically on the line. The Avs trying to lock up that good old President's Trophy and the top spot in the Western Conference. So Drury against Thomas on this draw. Drury 4 for 6 tonight. Thomas 3 for 11. As now we have a long pause here before this face-off, as the linesmen here taking their time, trying to drop the puck's Ben O'Quinn, paired tonight with Kyle Flemington. Mentioned Wes McCauley earlier. He's with Carter Sandlack. That's the officiating staff here tonight. Now still something going on here at the scorers tables. I don't know if they could close the door, as it seems like the door might be stuck open at the moment. Or maybe something's going on with the clock. Wes McCauley now given the go-ahead. Now we can play, as I'm not sure what the problem was there, but we're ready for action. So 21-6 are the shots in favor of Colorado. They've dominated here tonight, as now Drury gets tossed out of the draw. Nick Waugh has to step in here against Thomas, and off the draw, Waugh played it back, but Snuggerud takes it away. Played it out to center over the red line and snapped it into Avalanche territory. Around the goal it goes to the far wall. Manson played it back behind. Burns helped sweep it up the near side. Now it came back to Manson. His backhander gets to the logo. Drury leaves it. Landeskog will take it over the Blues blue line. Tried to play it to Waugh on the near side. It deflects off a stick to the corner. Now up the boards, Thomas let a little area play go off the skate of Holloway as he tried to hit Parayko in stride to center. Instead it came to Brent Burns, who's in his own zone, and came to the near wall for Manson. Manson chipped it back up past the penalty boxes. Drury tried to get over the St. Louis line. Couldn't, as Holloway knocked him down. Pass up ahead by Lindstein. Went off a skate. Came back to Manson and turned back to center by Colorado. They'll play it right back, though, off a skate to their own zone. As now here's Burns again taking a look. Seemingly out here the whole game, it's felt like. Again, no Cale Makar for Colorado, and Brent Burns at 40 years of age. No problem taking the role here of the workhorse with Devon Toews on the back end, as he played one up straight ahead through center ice, tipped in so no icing. Hofer will play it from the trapezoid up the near wall. Kyrou now up the left wing boards into the Avalanche zone, pivots on McKinnon, goes across now. Pass for Berggren right off the right pad. That shot went of Wedgwood. Now back up to center, a puck redirects to Natchez near wall over the red and the blue. Dropped it for McKinnon in the St. Louis zone. Up to the point now. Malinsky long shot, blockered away, may have been deflected by Lehkonen, but Hofer a good stop. Puck to the far corner. Mayu knocked it up for Kyrou, and now Jordan Kyrou got the red line at the end of a shift, and he'll snap it on in. Blues get a change, 11:20 to go in the second period, as Devon Toews scoots up through center on the near wall. Malinsky, his defense partner, will shoot it on in. Went behind to Hofer, played it to Suter straight ahead. Now on the far right wing, here's Neighbors into the Avalanche zone against Toews. Can't get past him, but now is able to get the puck out of the far corner, as Toews is still tying him up. He dropped it down low in the trapezoid. Suter had it poked away from him by Colton. Fowler overskated the puck, and that allows Toews to get it up to Big Val. And now Fowler trying to get back as the Avalanche are the other way. To the far corner, Malinsky played it around the goal. On the near half side, down to our right. Here's Colton. Back to the trapezoid. Nelson let it roll to the far corner. Pool queued up by Nichushkin to the blue line for Kulak. Is Rister. Deflected off a leg. Came to the near side. Neighbors. 10:33 to go in the second as the Blues are away through center. Far wing into the Avalanche zone. Fowler centering pass went off Manson's stick and deflects to the near wall. Berggren trying to play it back down low, taken away by Nichushkin. And now the Avalanche get it out to center with a diving effort by Nelson, as the Blues still have the puck. So Fowler in his own zone, down to our right, playing it straight ahead through center for Thomas, out of his reach. Turned back ahead by the Avalanche. Area play, far left wing. Kelly's in with Fowler to beat. Pivots on him in the far corner. Ran into the official, lost possession, but Drury's there to get it back for Colorado. Tied up here against the boards from Thomas. To the point, though, it goes Kulak. This way, Manson shot off the end boards, came to the far wall. Drury's back on it. Centered it. Kelly poked it through his legs to the point for Manson. His shot deflected to the far corner. Shot back through the trapezoid by the Avalanche. So now Kulak again goes back down low for O'Connor. To the far wall, it's Drury. Up top, Manson from the far point. Played it back through the trapezoid. Drury on the near corner. Back up top, Kulak. Back to Drury, near side. Up to the point, he skates. Played it back down low. A good shift here for the Avalanche fourth line as Kelly grabs it down low near circle. Up top between the circles, Kulak let it go, and a save made by Hofer right on. With 9:22 to go here in the second period, 3-0. Colorado still leads it here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here from Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Avalanche leading the St. Louis Blues 3-0 here past the halfway point of this game, as St. Louis Blues head coach Jim Montgomery currently getting chatted with from the St. Louis broadcast team on the bench. As you could only imagine, he's trying to find answers for his team. He's done a good job throughout the season of helping them find answers when they've gone in holes in games, but so far tonight, this St. Louis team seems dumbfounded to try and strike against Colorado. They're in their own defensive zone here as the Avs control off a draw. Puck bouncing around, though, in the far corner down to our right. Got cleaned up, though, to the far point for Tays. Slid this way. Burns goes off a skate through the crease to the near side. Broberg will clear it out. On the near side, Toropchenko in his own zone circles back. Plays it on the far wall for Mayu. Got it off a bounce. Played it over the red line. Shot it into the near corner of the Avalanche zone. Burns tied up with Finley down in the trapezoid. Finley knocked it to the far side, trying to get there's Landeskog for Colorado. Played it up the far wall for Wah, and he'll bank it into the St. Louis zone. It'll be icing, though, as it was away from McKinnon. So with 8:39, the whistle goes, and a face-off coming in the O-zone for St. Louis. So, coming up on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel, we got hockey. Thursday, I'll be with you, Blue Jackets Sabres at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Saturday night, prime time, Golden Knights and Avalanche at 8 Eastern. And then Sunday, April 12th, Penguins and Capitals, perhaps it's Sid and Ovi. One last time, unsure what Alexander Ovechkin's future holds, but it could be the last time we see that iconic matchup. It'll be right here Sunday on USM. The Avalanche win a draw off the icing to the right of Wedgwood, and McKinnon will get it down the ice and head on off, as now the Blues will circle back, and here's Parayko up to neutral ice. Played it on the far wall for Kyrou. It bounced off his blade into the Avalanche zone. Trying to clean it up is Nichushkin, but he can't clear it. Drouin will play it back down low. Dvorsky pinned up against the boards by Blankenberg, as now 3 Avalanche and 2 Blues players try and get this puck as it goes to the near wall and grabbed by Nichushkin of the Avalanche. With 2 goals already tonight, gets over the red, played it on the far side into the Blues zone. Down low, it's sent by Colton to Nelson. Put it up high now down Malinsky's one-timer, save Hofer, rebound on the doorstep, Nichushkin shut down Hofer, got it again on the trapezoid, played it up top, Malinsky shot, save made Hofer, rebound off the side of the net, broken stick here for Ross Colton, heads to the bench for a new cue, meanwhile at the right point, Malinsky is shot off a leg, and behind it goes, Parayko now backhanded it up the boards, Drouin let it go up to Dvorsky, who will happily take an icing here, as this whistle will go at 7:28 remaining in the second period, as Joel Hofer doing everything he can in the blue paint to try and keep this deficit doable for St. Louis, as Colorado's tested him plenty in this game, and he's done his job, but the Blues just can't get anything going at the other end of the ice. So face-off coming up to his left, as it'll be McKinnon out here for this draw against the Blues. Dvorsky, McKinnon able to win it back. Manson between the circles, has a wrister go off of Drouin's stick. It deflects back to center ice, as now Manson will put it back on the logo for Natchez, who turns back with it. At his own blue line, skates to the near wall, left it back for Manson, shot it in straight away. Behind the Blues net, it bounces away from Hofer to the far wall. Parayko will play it up and not out. Far circle, throw it on net, away from Natchez, as the Blues will get possession. And on the left wing boards, Drouin played it up for Dvorsky. Off his stick, came to Wedgwood, who played it back up the near wall, as now Natchez in front of the penalty box has turned it over. Neighbors takes it, trying to get by into the zone on both knees, does. Played it in front, and a good stick by Kulak. Broke up that pass, had it down on the ice, and it just stopped that puck en route. And the Avalanche will take it and fling it down the ice. It'll be an icing with 6:37 to go. But what a great defensive stick there by Brett Kulak. If we could get a replay of it, I'd love to see it. As there it is right here. Neighbors got past Manson into the zone. No trip was called as he sent it across for Suter, but Kulak diving down backwards, sprawling out, able to get it with the right skate, rather, not the stick, as in fast motion it looked like he got the stick, but he got it with the skate, and then it was sent down for an icing. The Avalanche were able to get the puck out of the zone following that icing, as Tyler Tucker then sent it back in for the Blues, but the Avs have no problem getting it back out, as Natchez set Kulak up the far wing through center. He gets into St. Louis ice and circles the wagon behind to the near side, up to the point. A one-timer by Malinsky, shut down by the glove of Hofer again, who gloves that, makes his 24th save of the game on 27 shots. Through just 34 minutes of game time tonight, the Blues with only 7 shots towards goaltender Scott Wedgwood, as they got to find a way here to claw back, as just a point here in this game could be sufficient for St. Louis, as these guys are falling apart here in this game against Colorado on home ice. So face off to the left of Hofer again in the O-zone for Colorado. Off the tie-up, Nelson will nudge it along to the back. Malinsky will poke it deep, and Avalanche will get possession. Wah on the near side, button hooking along the wing. Dropped it at the right wing dot for Nelson. Played up high Taze. His shot off the left pad of Hofer. Rebound came to Landeskog near side. Around the goal, it'll go to Nelson. Nelson on his backhand far left wing. Left it at the left wing circle for Wah. Wah rotates up high, gave it to Nelson. Open one-timer. Shut down Hofer as he makes the stop with 5:48 to go in the second period. Avalanche shooting a ton, up 3-0 here on the road. back in St. Louis, Colorado. Playing spoiler here, up 3-0 on the road as the Blues trying to climb the Western Conference playoff ladder, trying to keep their season alive. Meanwhile, the Avalanche trying to clinch the Western Conference top spot and the President's Trophy with a win in this game tonight. Again, Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Face off to the left of the Blues goaltender Hofer, won by Finley against Nathan MacKinnon as the Blues will get it and clear it out. But right back into possession of the Avs it'll go for the moment before being turned back onto Buchnevich's blade at center. Gave it to Toropchenko left wing who will wire it in. Around the far side it'll go. Up to MacKinnon it'll go, but Finley a nice stick there to poke it back, but it escapes him as it's thrown back to center on a nice poke check by Devon Toews. Broberg on the reset for Finley. Backhanded it towards the Avalanche goal. Wedgwood will leave it in the trapezoid for Malinsky. Up the far wall, Lehkonen can't get it out. As now a second try will escape the zone. As now getting back on, it's Mayu with 5:09 left in the second period. 29 shots to 7 in favor of the Avalanches. The count tonight, they're up 3 goals over St. Louis. Devon Toews down to our left behind his net, flung it up the far wall, it deflects into the St. Louis zone, no icing. Hofer will leave it for Broberg now in the far corner on the right wing. Slowly skates now up to center at the red line. Played it for Thomas. Tried to get over the Avalanche blue, but got tied up with Drury, who then slings one up ahead for O'Connor, but it deflects off his stick to Hofer, who played it up the near side for Holloway. Drop pass for Broberg. Blew a tire. Holloway tried to give it back to Snuggerud, but he got cut off as the Avalanche back on the near side. O'Connor can't get past. Now Thomas again, as neither team here through neutral ice could do anything. Snuggerud, though, for Holloway. Back to Thomas. And a shot. He scores! Robert Thomas' 4th straight goal against the Colorado Avalanche, had a hat trick on Sunday and gets the first goal of the game here for the Blues on Tuesday. So, Robert Thomas, goal 22 on the year. After sloppy play in neutral ice, Snuggerud found a way in. And on the far side, it was Lindstein, not Holloway, who put Thomas on top of the blue paint to bury that puck. As Lindstein, 41, not 81, with the assist. And Robert Thomas with goals now in 4 straight games, points in 6 straight, has the Blues somewhat back in this game, as that'll give a little bit of energy to this crowd on home ice. So Lindstein and Snuggerud the assists on Thomas's 22nd. The Blues now here with possession back in their own zone with 4 minutes to go in the second. Play it back up the far wall. It's going to be tipped out of play, though, into the far quarter down to our left. So a neutral zone faceoff coming up here in front of the benches. As another look here at Robert Thomas. Since March 1st, he shares 14th in the NHL with now 11 goals, and he has a plus 24 rating as well. Leads St. Louis with 22 goals, 35 assists, and 57 points on the year, and is plus 20 overall on the campaign. And Snuggerud with that assist adds another. He had 3 assists on Sunday against Colorado. With that assist here, that bumps his total up now to 26 on his rookie campaign as the Blues win a neutral zone draw in front of the benches and get back to work. Played around the Colorado goal, trying to get it out to Nelson. It will get out. It might go for icing, though, as it's going the distance. And the whistle's blown here again with 3:37 remaining in period number 2. Face-off coming back in the O-zone for St. Louis, who are trying to dial back into this game after Colorado's miserably outworked them throughout the first 35 minutes. So the top line back on the ice, Snuggerud, Thomas, and Holloway for this draw. And it'll be Fowler and Tucker on the back end as well. They'll go up against Nelson, Landeskog, and Nichushkin. Or Colton, I should say. And off the draw, Thomas wins it to the back. Mayu will play it around, as now Thomas will play it up to Broberg on the near side, and he stashed it right back to Thomas nicely. Tried to feed Holloway in the slot, couldn't connect. Came up to the point, though, for Broberg to rifle one off the end boards. Came to the far wing, Snuggerud shot one back to the near side. Broberg back on it. Into the near corner he goes. Now hit hard in behind by Manson. That lost possession, as now Nichushkin plays it up on the near side. Brett Kulak racing in right wing over the Blues line. Taken hard into the near side by Holloway as their sticks got tied up. They're still tangled. Meanwhile, on the near side, side. Mayu put it up too much, then it came to the point. Manson, his shot dealt with easily there by Hofer. Broberg tried to rifle one back to center, as now Kulak has trouble with it. Now Snuggerud will tip it into Colorado ice, but Manson back off the near glass puts it into the Blues side once again. Behind the Blues net, Broberg will play it to Mayu. Nicely played it back to himself away from McKinnon. Now up on the far side hits Kyrou, or Thomas I should say, still out there. On the near side, feeds neighbors in the Colorado zone, skating behind the trapezoid. Lost possession as he ran out of racetrack. Kulak up the far wall. Wah got it to McKinnon over the Blues line. Pivots, played it in the slot. Or I should say Landeskog across for Wah. Didn't connect with the pass. Back in the far corner, Gabe Landeskog couldn't connect with a through the legs pass, but it was set up to the point. Now on this near side, here's Malinsky across it, a tip there by Landeskog, shut down by Hofer nicely, moving to his right. And now he's made 28 saves in this game through 38 minutes. 2:12 remain in period number 2. It's a 3-1 Colorado Avalanche lead, as Big Val with 2 goals in this game, and Marty Necas with the other have Colorado with 3, and Robert Thomas with his 4th goal in a row with the game. He has 4 straight goals scored here against the Avalanche, and he got the Blues on the board to make it 3-1. So face-off here coming up to the left of Hofer after that nice save on Landeskog, and Finley's able to win that draw against McKinnon. Shot up the near glass, it gets out to neutral ice. Bushnevich trying to hunt the puck down, but it just was out of his reach as Taze takes it back. Played it at the logo for Necas, bunted this way by Lekin on his backhand. McKinnon near wing into the blue zone, pinballs around in the slot. Necas back door, couldn't hit Lekkinen with the pass. Now McKinnon just bodied Kyrou out of the way, puck collected by Necas, galloping up high. Skating to the right wing, pivots here with 105 to go in the first. Played it to the far quarter, McKinnon. Played it back in the slot, but it's right to Kyrou as the Blues will now get out. Straight away, Kyrou into the Avalanche zone. Put it off the stick of Wedgwood to the near corner, it deflects. Now Kyrou stashes it back down to the corner. On it's Drouin. Jonathan Drouin trying to shield and got it to the point. Here's Broberg, long wrister, deflected to the far corner off his own man Taze. Now back behind the Avalanche goal, Kyrou trying to fight to the left wing circle, does, skating up to the blue line. To the far circle, Thomas fresh on behind, wraparound right pad save Wedgwood, and he'll cover as Robert Thomas sneaking on the ice in the back door on the far side, wrapped it around, but couldn't get it past the right pad of Wedgwood, who did a good job to hold the post. So face-off coming back up here to Wedgwood's right, the top line getting back on the ice for St. Louis. Thomas, Snuggerud, and Holloway. Again, after that goal, they're outscoring team 16-0 on the ice, 5-on-5 together. As the Avalanche here trying to escape this second period, still with a multi-goal lead intact. Don't want to give the Blues any momentum going into the third, as the Avalanche, though, if they do give the Blues a little bit of life, maybe it injects a little bit of focus back into them, as the Blues definitely here the last couple of minutes have had the better of play, but Burns with a nice play up the far side, comes over to Nichushkin, he's tied up, and now a penalty's coming as well, as Mayu's tied up with Nichushkin, and Logan Mayu constantly finds himself in penalty troubles, going to go back to the penalty box here, and the Avs will get their first power play of the night. So don't know if you want to say that was a good penalty to take with Big Val breaking in on the far side, as I'll get a better look here on the replay to judge myself. As Mayu and Nichushkin were the matchup on the near side, and Nichushkin off the D-zone draw just darted up to neutral, and Burns, knowing that play was happening, threw it up on the far wing, and yeah, Mayu just immediately gets the stick in the midsection. More so, I think he lost his balance, and the ref was kind of turned, and the legs got tied up. But nonetheless, the Avs to the power play, a minute to go in the second period. They win the draw. On the right side, McKinnon with it. Pivots here against Toropchenko. Goes across Necas to the back. Taze one-timer. Save Hofer through a screen, as Nelson was on the doorstep, and he swallows that one up for a whistle with 50.5 seconds remaining in the second. So this Avalanche power play, they're not great either. They're 26th in the NHL. They were around dead last a month ago, so they've got some improvement, 17.6%. They've scored a power play goal in 9 of their last 10 games. And the Blues PK overall 28th in the NHL. They come up with a clear here, though, thanks to Parayko, as the Avalanche chase back with under 40 seconds now to go in the second period. Taze drop pass for Necas in his own zone. Skates out straight ahead. Turned it over to Suter. He's in shorthanded as Torp Toropchenko coming with him. Suter to the near circle, didn't know where to go with it, ends up getting knocked off the puck by McKinnon, as now Nelson gets possession back and Colorado's up ahead, skating left to right. Over the Blue Note logo, he turned it over. Fowler takes a look as the Blues are looking for a rush shorthanded. Pass up finds Buchnevich into the Colorado zone, tripped up on the far side, and that will take away the Colorado man advantage. We'll go to 4-on-4 here for the final 9.6 seconds, as now to the box goes Big Val, as after drawing a penalty, Gabe Landeskog, my apologies, looked at the wrong player, as now he takes a spot here in the penalty box for the Avalanche. So 4-on-4 now we go for 9.6 seconds remaining in the second period. It'll be a minute 7 overall of 4-on-4 time, as Buchnevich here appears to be in some distress after getting tripped up, as on the Blues bench, he's doubled over talking to the medical staff, now kind of sitting at the end of the far left side of the bench. But ozone dry here for the Blues. 9.6 left in the period. They win it to the left of Wedgwood. Broberg to the back. His shot in and out of the glove of Wedgwood. Thomas gets it. Played it this way. Snuggeroo can't hold it. Neither can Broberg. That'll kill off the rest of the time in the second. And to intermission we go. Colorado out shooting St. Louis 32-9. Through 40 minutes, they lead it 3-1 on the score sheet. The only goal this period for them was a shorthanded goal 100 seconds in, thanks to Big Val Nichushkin, a shot through his legs that just barely beat Joel Hofer under his stick. He got just a piece of it, but it wasn't enough. And it was 3-0 Colorado. The Blues got one back. Thomas's 22nd of the year from Lindstein and Snuggerud. The Blues in that period with 7 shots on net. The Avalanche with 15 themselves, as I mentioned. 32-9 is the shot count for Colorado over the Blues. It'll be 57 seconds of 4-on-4 time to begin the third. Then the Blues will get a brief power play as they're down 2 and their season's pretty much hanging in the balance here tonight on home ice. We'll see if they could respond and try and get at least a point here against Colorado. The Avs lead at 3-1 against the Blues. You're listening to an NHL Watchalong on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page with Jaric Rubel. Third period is coming up. welcome back into St. Louis. One period remains in regulation time. Colorado on the road leading the Blues 3-1 through 40 minutes of play. My name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you're with me on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Goals in this game. Valeri Nichushkin from Tays and Malinsky opened the scoring on a deflection. Big Val 16th of the year, first of the game. Marty Necas then got one with 28 seconds left in the first period. His 37th of the year from McKinnon and Lehkonen. Then Big Val again short-handed between his legs from Brock Nelson for his 17th of the season. Then Bob Tom, Robert Thomas, 22nd of the season from Lindstein and Snuggerud. Lindstein's second career NHL point. As the Blues, down 2 goals, need some sort of point in this game, in my opinion, to keep themselves afloat in this Western Conference playoff race. I think getting none in this game tonight is going to be costly if that ends up being the case. And this Avalanche team, when leading through 2 periods, 38-0-0, so they've never lost when leading through 40 minutes this season. The Blues, when trailing, are 2-26-2. They came back to tie San Jose on Monday last week, but lost with 20 seconds left in a regulation. 4-on-4 to begin the third period here as Drouin wins the draw for St. Louis, who attacks left to right in this third period. We're underway. And of course, Colorado attacking right to left. Blues here with possession in their own zone. As Cam Fowler here looks for a breakout, as Marty Necas on the forecheck eyeing him down, takes him behind his own net now as Fowler will get free and create some separation. Through neutral ice he'll go into the Av zone, keeps it himself, left it near side Drouin, sent it across, deflected away by McKinnon. McKinnon will keep it himself and now just circle back in his own zone. And now circle away from Drouin and burst up the far wing. Made Thomas miss. Into the zone he goes and straight away left it near side. Necas one-timer. Got the glass. It ricochets out of play with 12 seconds to go here on the 4-on-4. 19:15 to go in the third period. Jim Montgomery here vocal and intent on the Blues bench, it looks like, to begin this third period as his team's desperate here. 4 points in the standings. As 12 seconds remain on 4-on-4 time, then they'll get a power play to work with. As now an ozone draw here for the Avalanche commences to the right of Joel Hofer. It'll be Thomas against Nelson for this draw. Off the draw, it's kicked by Nelson, but went right to Snuggerud. And now Snuggerud left it on the right wing boards at the dot for Thomas. He collects. Out to neutral he goes and lost possession on a poke check from Nichushkin. The Avalanche get it back. 4-on-4 time expires. The Blues now on a power play for 52 seconds. In their own zone, Broberg tries to get a puck in possession. He will away from Nichushkin. And here comes St. Louis on the power play. 40 seconds remain on it. On the near wall, Snuggerud into the Avalanche zone. Holloway in the corner. Played it up to the right point, Broberg. Back to Holloway, right wing boards. Down low now Neighbors. Neighbors trying to stuff it home, and then backdoor attempt from Snuggerud couldn't go. Believe it might have hit the post. It's now on the near side. Holloway launched it back up to Broberg. Broberg now looking from the far point, gave it to Thomas, left half boards. On top of the paint, trying to hit Neighbors, lost it, and Nichushkin will clear it. And the Blues will have to chase back. So final 10 here to go on this power play. Here comes Thomas with one final power play rush. Over the Blue Note logo, far left wing, Neighbors in, pulls up, dropped it to Broberg. 2 seconds left on the penalty, puck pinballing at the far circle, thrown up through center, looking for Landeskog on the breakaway, won't get it. But now we're back to full and equal strength here in this one as the Avalanche are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill tonight. So now we are St. Louis again. Broberg on the far wall, hits a man in stride. It's Parayko over the Avalanche line. Defending here is McKinnon against him. Knocked him off the puck, but it goes in behind to the trapezoid where now Berggren's tied up as a loose puck's grabbed by Blankenberg. Buchnevich knocks him off the puck, played it up high Tucker. Tucker long shot, blocked off a leg, came back to center as Tucker has to get back on it. 2.5 played in this third period. Buchnevich again, right wing pass intended for Suter, didn't connect. Came back now to Tucker as the Blues make some changes. Parayko at his own blue line. Put it on the logo. Pass intended for Dvorsky. Taken away Landeskog. Left wing into the zone comes Colton. His shot. Right pad save made by Hofer. Rebound to the corner down to our left. Grabbed by the Blues. Dvorsky. Almost turned it over. Hofer trying to grab it. Can't grab it on the blocker as it rolls behind the goal. Now behind that net. Blankenberg pinching will wrap it back around to the near side. Tucker trying to pitchfork one up. Gets near the blue line. It'll get out and the Blues are ahead on the near side. Dvorsky left it Kyrou into the Avalanche zone. Toe drag right wing shot, and it got off the stick of Tays and deflects out of play. So 3:06 gone by here in this third period, 3-1 Colorado. As again, the next time you'll hear from me, it'll be Thursday from Buffalo as the Sabres host the Columbus Blue Jackets right here on this very YouTube channel, 7 Eastern. That will get underway 6 Central, depending where you're watching from. Then Saturday, Golden Knights and Avs. I'll be with you with a special guest for that game in prime time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain Time, as it is 2 West Coast teams. Then the Pens and Caps, perhaps one last time, sit in Ovi this Sunday with me on USM. Now off a draw, right on net, Kyrou put one, and Thomas couldn't get a stick on it, as now out to center, the Avalanche get that loose puck, and Wah put Nichushkin in far side. It'll be played up to Manson, who sent it right back down low in the St. Louis zone to our left. Nelson got it away from Thomas, came back to him, and now it's played up and out to center, and a foot race is on between Manson and Snuggerud. Now it'll end up being Wedgwood getting to it first as the Colorado goaltender to our right plays it around his net. Came at the feet of Wah, though. He lost it. Thomas chipped it near wing, onside for Holloway. Right wing boards. Tried to feed it across for Lindstein. Went off a leg, came to Burns, and he played it back to center, and the Blues will try again. So Fowler, as his team makes changes, played it up straight ahead for Neighbors. Tried to chip it past Drury, got it to Suter. Now the return past Neighbors, backhands one in while falling. Around the Colorado goal, it goes to the near side. Suter tried to grab a bouncing puck, nudged it to Neighbors, who's diving, kept it alive, and got it to Mayu at the blue line. Backhanded it to the far corner, came to Suter. Bouncing puck here at the left wing circle down to our right. Kulak can't get it, poked down low Suter again. Suter left it in the corner for Berggren, fanned on a backhand pass. Parker Kelly can't clear though, as Mayu will keep at the far point. Backhanded down low again by the Blues defenseman. At the half boards, Berggren had it hop over his blade. Kelly will chip it off the glass to center. And now Broberg will grab it back at his own blue line for St. Louis. Skates up ahead himself. Go through all 3 lines in neutral. Chipped it behind the Colorado goal now. In the far corner, end up getting to it himself as Toropchenko found him. Back down low, Toropchenko fanned on a pass. Behind the goals, Drury now for Colorado. Up the left wing, hit Lehkonen, and that's as far as he'll get is the red line. Before Parayko turns it right back. Toropchenko, right wing, over the Avalanche line now. Being defended by Kulak, shakes him off. Got it to Parayko. His shot deflected by Finley over top of the net. In that trapezoid to our right. Backhanded up the wall on the near side, Parayko at the point. Played it back behind the Colorado goal. Finley tried to move it along to Lindstein, couldn't get it to him. The Avalanche have it now as Kulak goes on the left wing for McKinnon. He collects over the Blues line. He skates, pulls up, trying to skate to the slot. Makes a man miss. Backhand for Tays. Went behind him as now Tays will keep it in the zone. Played it back to the corner down to our left, and now trying to get its Lehkonen. Bushnevich played it away from him, and Lindstein now has it. Played it on the right wing. This will be an icing, as that was a terrible pass by Lindstein. Don't know what he was looking at. But with 5:31 played in the third period, an icing here on St. Louis allows Colorado to get a change in an O-zone faceoff. St. Louis, though, has some mixed match lines out there and not able to change at the moment. A look here at the weak shot by Parayko from the right circle. Bushnevich and Finley on the doorstep, and Bushnevich with the tip just couldn't get it to go under the bar and in. Face off to the right of Hofer. Won by the Avalanche off the icing. Tays flip shot deflected by Landeskog over top of the net. Came to the far corner. Lindstein slooped it up ahead. And now Bushnevich is tied up. As now Nichushkin's trying to keep it in the zone. He will. High stick there. Came and hit Lindstein up high. No call, as it was right on top of the official. Nobody called it. I saw with my own 2 eyes, but we play on. Left wing Nelson tried to feed Landeskog in straight ahead. Couldn't connect. Now on the near wall. It's taken away on a nice stick check by Tucker. Holloway fed it out to center for now Snuggerud. Thomas on an delayed offside. Had to get back, as now Holloway played it back and got it back. Trying to dance in with a right backhander, and a save made by Wedgwood with the right pad, as Holloway there had nice moves in tight. Now on the re-entry, gets it again. Right wing boards. Got hit and fell over. Fowler pinching, lost it, and now here come the Avalanche. 2-on-1. Left wing's Drury. Now Tucker took the bait. Now it's flung over to Malinsky, but the pass way out in front of him, as Tucker chose the man he wanted. Malinsky could have had a breakaway, but it didn't connect. Now a big shot blocked by Fowler. That hit him up in the right arm on a big clapper by Manson. Meanwhile, puck on the near left side, trying to get it out, are the St. Louis Blues. As now it's held in by Burns. He's going to walk into the slot with a shot and a save made by Hofer as that hits him right on the logo on his chest. And that sends us to break with 13:09 to go in the third. Colorado still up 3-1, trying to win the President's Trophy here this season. 3-1 Colorado with 13 minutes to go in regulation time. Trying to hang on and win the division, win the conference, and win the President's Trophy all in one foul swoop. The Blues just trying to get a point and try and stay pace here in the Western Conference playoff race. It's been an uphill climb battle for them, not only tonight, but for the last month and a half. And they're going to need some sort of miracle here to tie this game. They were down 2-0 in the final 4 minutes to Edmonton on home ice earlier in the month of March and tied it to win in overtime. See if they have some sort of miracle in them tonight. But right now, Colorado looking like the supreme team. Face off here to the right of Hofer, won by Finley, but not out. Snapped to the net by Burns, didn't make it through. Now on the far wall, the Avalanche can't grab it as Nature's lost it to Broberg, and his pass for Kyrou had to be recovered, and now gets on out. Snapped in Buchnevich, who joins the Kyrou line at the moment. Played it around the Colorado goal. Burns behind, turned it over. It's loose in front, but he's able to get back to it before Kyrou found it. Now on the near side, the Avalanche McKinnon over the Blues line at the left wing circle. Stick checked by Mayu, gets it back, played it around to the far side, and trying to get to its Landeskog. Got it to Manson, but he turned it over. The Blues are coming out through center. On the near wing, here's Broberg over the Avalanche line as the Blues are changing. Skates behind the Avalanche net. Blues get a change off, and now we're in the O-zone fully here. On the far wall, Broberg still with the puck. Able to get it behind for Buchnevich. Stick handling it in the trapezoid. To the far wall, Drouin. Back to Broberg, far point. Back behind the goal, Berggren will collect in front, trying to get it Suter, couldn't get good wood on it. Now on the near side for Colorado, Natchez will get it out to center. And St. Louis gets back. Drouin leaves it in his own zone as the Blues get a quick change off. On the near wing, tipped in Berggren. Going behind the Colorado net, it'll be put a glove on by Wedgwood as he went behind the trapezoid, as he just reached out behind there and put his glove on it unexpectedly. So he freezes that one, and the Blues, while not able to get a full line change off, end up getting one now. So they'll get a fresh full 5 skaters on the ice with 11:57 to go here in the third period. Avalanche will do the same. The face-off coming up here to the left of Scott Wedgwood. So it'll be Nelson on the ice with Colton and Landeskog, and then it'll be Thomas, Snuggerud, and Holloway for the Blues. Thomas wins it clean. To the back, it's Parayko. Looking to play it down behind the goal. He will. It rolls around to the far side, flipped on out by the Avalanche. As it bounces in front of the penalty box, Colton will steer it in behind the goal. Hofer in that trapezoid, looking to shoot it up straight ahead, hits Thomas in stride. To the far wall, here's Holloway kicking to the stick, trying to get by Malinsky into the far side of the Avs zone. Couldn't quite fight him off, as a free puck behind the Avalanche cage now will be taken by Nichushkin. Got away from Thomas, played it on the far wall for Malinsky. Onside, tried a shot, fought off by Hofer. Now the Blues on the counter attack again. Snuggerud had a shot a stick get deflected, but they're into the zone cleanly. Lindstein's drop pass though for Holloway cut off, and the Avalanche now on the far wing. Here's Nelson. Pass went off a skate. Now back comes St. Louis. End to end we go. No chances being given though. On the far side, Holloway had a pass get deflected away to the near corner. Blankenberg played it up, and now it's out the center on a tip pass by Waugh. Landeskog collects over the red and the blue into the far side of the blue zone. Dropped it off. Waugh in. Got poke checked in behind. Puck free in the trapezoid. Waugh gets back on it for Colorado. Tied up with Tucker as Tucker takes him to the ice aggressively. Meanwhile, puck to the far wall. Blankenberg just whacks at it. It comes right to Hofer, and he'll take a whistle. So 37 shots now for the Avalanche, only 11 for St. Louis, who have not had many chances going towards Scott Wedgwood, as the Avalanche here have hunkered down and have been able to maintain the Thomas Snuggerud Holloway line, which has struck once, but that line on Sunday capitalized for all 3 St. Louis goals, and Colorado's just nullified all other 9 forwards for St. Louis. So off a draw to the left of Hofer. It's won by the Blues. Fowler from behind his own net. Played it a big pass near side. Here's Berggren in. Has Suter with him. Played it across, and it went off the heel of the blade of Suter, who had an open net, who now backhanded it in front for Berggren, but he couldn't get good wood on it. Now Drury put it up and out the center, as that was a great chance for the Blues, but Berggren to Suter just could not connect. Now Tucker will flip it back in on the near side. Neighbors will get there. He puts on the brakes, has 3 white sweaters around him. Has to play it back to the corner. Berggren gets free in the near circle. Suter a shot off a leg back to Berggren near side. Tried to play it on top of the paint for Neighbors, but it's taken away by Blankenberg, and he now gallops away by almost losing his balance to neutral, but plays it into St. Louis ice. Now Hofer will stick it to Broberg. Now Broberg on the logo for Toropchenko, tried to hit Mayu on the near side, but did not connect. Now Tays on the reset for Colorado on the near wall, poked ahead by Lehkonen, but right to Broberg. He races through neutral, right into the Avalanche zone. Toe drag into the goal, and he got tripped up. Will it be a penalty shot or just a penalty? And Wedgwood's really hurt. He's holding his lower back and kicking his legs like he's trying to learn how to swim, as Scott Wedgwood is in a world of pain, and the medical staff now running onto the ice for Colorado, as Wedgwood now getting to his knees, but he was kicking his legs like a kid trying to survive in a pool, as this now is going to be some cause for concern for the Avalanche, as Broberg was tripped up by an Avalanche skater and went right into Scott Wedgwood, and he was banged up immediately. Here's a look at the replay. It was the stick of Sam Malinsky that got into the midsection of Broberg, and Broberg's there trying to watch over, but his teammates now are pulling him away from the situation, as I think Broberg genuinely feels awful about what just happened, as now Wedgwood still doubled over on the ice, talking to the medical staff. Blackwood's getting his gear on at the moment in the tunnel, as the goaltending equipment coach here is getting him his blocker and glove, as he's watching up as well at the video board, as Wedgwood here still talking things over with the medical staff. No other replay of what happened, but we don't really need another one, as we're still waiting for word. Wedgwood now trying to stretch himself back, as I wonder if his back might have just tightened up or something, because he immediately reached for his lower back right near his tailbone and was kicking his legs, and now he's trying to work the hips out through this. And now he's going to get back to his feet here. And it looks like we're going to go to commercial break, so I won't be able to tell you if he stays or leaves. But at the moment, as it goes to break, he's staying in the blue paint while talking to the medical staff. So when we return, we'll see if Scott Wedgwood's good to remain in this game, or if Mackenzie Blackwood is going to see some action. Back in a moment here from St. Louis. Avalanche leading 3-1. Back here in St. Louis, where Scott Wedgwood looks to appear to be good enough to stay in the game. As St. Louis is going to go to a power play, Sam Malinsky was called for a trip, and Wedgwood was banged up, holding his lower back. Looked like he was in, a world of hurt with the way he reacted, but appears to have just caught a stinger and is going to stay in the game. Face-off coming up to his left. Blues 0 for 2 on the power play. Really need a goal here. Blues fans doing the power plug at certain spots from what I could see. Looks like they're waving more so at a press box. But this power play begins with a face-off win by Thomas. Right wing circle. His shot deflected by Holloway right over the crossbar. Blues here trying to get possession back. They can at the moment. Drury trying to sling it out. Diving play, though. Couldn't get it out. Thomas staved it to the near side Neighbors. Straight away Broberg. Pass deflected to Thomas on the far wall off a stick. Played it back to Broberg. Looking over. Gave it back to Thomas. This way Broberg. One-timer save. Wedgwood right on. And did not allow a second chance. So first power play shot on goal tonight for the Blues. They were 0 for 2 previously. Like I said, had no shots on either of those two power plays. That try by Broberg right there, the first power play shot here of the game. So face-off coming up to the left here of Broberg. Now the fans really getting into the power plug dance here in Enterprise Center. All right, so the face-off between Thomas here and Nelson. As the fans starting to make noise in St. Louis. Blues lose the draw, but the clearing attempt held in. Broberg walking to the far circle. Playing it down low, hits Snuggerud. Back up top, Broberg. Looking to the far wall, Thomas. Thomas here has a man down low, Snuggerud waiting to give it to him. It deflected up high. Now a shot save, Wedgwood. So that was a deflected pass that hit Snuggerud up high. Now Thomas has it stripped away by Nichushkin. He'll get a clear. And the Blues have to get back on it with 67 seconds left on their power play. 8:40 left in the third period as the Blues really need a point in the standings here. They got to push hard to try and save their season, though it's not mathematically done. They fail to enter in here. The Avs with another clear as Hofer here behind his own net will leave it for Broberg in the final 50 of this man advantage. Avs PK's been so good this season, first in the league, as Broberg wires it back into the Avalanche zone for St. Louis down to our right. Puck bouncing around to the far boards. Kyrou got it up the wall. Mayu will play it right back down low in the skates of Berggren. Berggren got tied up with Tays. Puck free to the near side. Drouin can't grab it. It'll be grabbed Buchnevich. Up high Mayu. Back to the near side down low Berggren. Trying to shield, leaving it for Drouin. He's sandwiched in the boards by Manson. The Avs Tays will send it down the ice. Down the length it goes. And now only a Baker's dozen remains for St. Louis. As now Logan Mayu with it. Played it on the far wing. Buchnevich will shoot it in. Around the St. Louis goal it'll go. Or Colorado goal I should say it'll go. As now at the point Mayu goes far wall for Buchnevich. Buchnevich's power play time expires. Got it in the slot. Kyrou a shot. Blocker save Wedgwood. Back to Kyrou in the slot. Skating to the far wall. Pivoting. Fresh out of the box now for Colorado is Malinsky. As now rotating up high as the Blues at the far point. Mayu walking in with a shot save. Wedgwood. He looked behind him, but it's in his breadbasket as he holds with 7:19 to go here. In the third period, the Avalanche kill off that power play for St. Louis. They're a perfect 3 for 3 here in this game. And now the Blues trying to find something to give them life with 7:19 to go in the third and a very big point or two up for grabs. The Avalanche trying to win the Western Conference and have home ice run through them, not only in the West, but in the league as well, as they could clinch the President's Trophy for the league's top point total with a win here tonight. As now a face-off here to Wedgwood's right, won by the Avalanche. And now it'll be out to center. Tays will flip it over the St. Louis blue line. Thomas got it right back on the near wall for Snuggerud. Will drop it right back off. Thomas here trying to start a rush for the Blues. Got it to Parayko, who sent it right back. Thomas over the Avalanche line. Twisted it straight in. Here's a shot by Fowler that ends up in the near corner. Parayko's down low. The Avalanche trying to get it. McKinnon's pass up ahead. Doesn't hit Landeskog, but Hofer has to play it because it won't be icing. Played it to the far wall where Fowler touched it to Parayko. Parayko now out to center. Far wall over the lines. Thomas left wing boards. Trying to backhand it down low to Parayko. It got poked out the center by Manson. And now St. Louis resetting again with 6:35 to go in the third period. Here's Lindstein on the near side. laying it straight up ahead for Neighbors, backhanded it from the red line into the far corner of the Avalanche zone to our right. Manson played it up the far wall. Couldn't get it out quite yet as Drury will play it back behind to him. Manson will try again, this time up the near side. Couldn't connect to Kelly with a pass, but now it finds him as he takes a bump and plays it into the St. Louis zone. Hofer from the trapezoid to our left for Lindstein on the near side. Played it up for Berggren, who circles up ahead. Over the red line, snapped it in off the far boards. Behind the Colorado goal, it goes to the near side. Drury sent it right back out to center as the Blues try and reset again. Nothing really doing here for him, though, without the top line on the ice of Thomas Holloway and Snuggerud. Behind the Colorado goal again, the puck goes. Trying to kick it with Suter to Neighbors. He backhanded it around the goal, but only McKinnon's there for Colorado. As he'll flip it up ahead, it'll bounce into the St. Louis zone as both teams change again with 5:37 to go in the third period. 3-1 Colorado on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel with you on the second to last Tuesday night of the regular season. Blues get a free puck in the far corner of the Avalanche zone as Drouin played it back to Fowler. Got it in the middle for Kyrou, circling up high now. Kyrou to the right wing circle, looking backdoor for a tip by Drouin. Couldn't get it. Puck free to now Nelson for the Avalanche. Over the red line in the blue, far side into the St. Louis zone. Backhanded it down low. Hofer out to play it. Shot it up the far boards right to Drouin. And now the Blues up again. A stretch pass for Kyrou. He has a man with him, Bushnevich, into the zone. Kyrou backhanded one past the backhanded it past the blocker side of Wedgwood as he didn't find a lane that he liked for Bushnevich and missed a spinorama backhander. The Blues now get the top line back on the ice after they change, and out to center comes Dylan Holloway. Dylan Holloway has 5 points in 6 games against the Colorado Avalanche, taken into the end boards by Kulak. Meanwhile, puck up the far boards out to center as the Blues have to touch back up. Snuggerud resets, snaps it in from the right wing boards. Around it goes to the far side with under 4.5 now to go in the third. Kulak can't clear. Right wing Snuggerud at the circle. Dropped it off Thomas. Back Snuggerud, a shot, and it missed the net to the blocker side of Wedgwood and goes out of play as that was a great chance for the Blues rookie winger as he says, "You gotta be kidding me," after that sequence as the Blues have had a couple of chances to get within one, but unable to hit the target as they're down 2 with 4:20 left in period 3. .420 remaining in regulation, and the Blues need 2 to try and salvage the important points they need in the Western Conference playoff race. The Avalanche just trying to hang on and clinch the top spot in the entire National Hockey League with the President's Trophy victory. As Jim Montgomery's crew here, goals against per game NHL ranks, they were 22nd before the All-Star break, now since their first, and now they're going for broke with the extra attacker. As now 6-on-5 we go, O-zone draw with the top line on the ice for the Blues. as they need 2 here in this game. Face off to the left of Wedgwood, won by Colorado, but not able to get out on the clear by Tays. But now it comes to Landeskog, who goes across for Big Val, who's looking for a hat trick, but batted out of midair. Did Broberg get that puck? And now the Blues are back the other way into the Avalanche zone, but a pass back for Thomas got taken away. Big Val again for the empty net, shot it wide. And now the Blues take back over. Now here's Neighbors on the far wall, pass Miss Thomas, but it'll go into the Avalanche zone. Broberg after it, tied up with Manson. They both go hard in behind, or Landeskog, I should say, as he's in some... And he looks to be okay. Looked like his right arm was in some distress at first, but the puck meanwhile down to our right with the Avalanche picking it up. Tays banks it off the far glass. It gets down the ice. Now a foot race for the puck. Thomas will get there before Nichushkin does. As now the Blues with 3:30 to go in the third come back again. Down 2 at the net empty. Thomas into the Avalanche zone. Makes a move into the zone. Tried a shot upstairs under the bar, but it just went over it. As that was a wicked move by Thomas. And now the puck in the slot for Holloway. Dropped it back. Parayko couldn't grab it. And now here's Fowler having to get back. This way for Parayko. Out of his reach. Now played it behind the Blues goal for Fowler. 3:06 left in the third period. Blues down 3-1 here in this game to Colorado. Fowler will just slap one in from the red line as it rolls around to the near corner down to our right in the Avalanche zone. Kyrou gloved it, dropped it down. It came to Drouin. No hand pass, says the official, as Kyrou got it back, rugged around the goal. Pinching's Fowler, dropped it to the point for Bushnevich covering. At the far point, Bushnevich, long shot, save Wedgwood, who was deep in his net to make that save. Puck back up the far boards to Fowler, slid this way Parayko. Now at the right wing circle, it's Drouin. Back across Fowler, left wing circle, back to Drouin, but the pass was deflected on the way. No urgency from Drouin to go and poke check that puck. Now the Avs out the center, but a good check off of Jachis' stick, as now it's sent back in by Parayko. On the far wing, 2:20 left to go in the third. Puck bounces back to center. Thomas, fresh off the boards, is on the ice to grab it for the Blues, as now they nudge it back into their own zone as Broberg resets. 2:10 left in the third. Blues down 2. Avalanche trying to win the President's Trophy, and here's the takeaway. Big Val looking for a hat trick. Empty net, just missed to the far post. Rebound now to Nelson. Couldn't get the pass back to Nichushkin, though. Is now Neighbors on his horse up the right wing. Shot one back into the Avalanche zone. Under 2 minutes to go in this one. Thomas chipped it back to the point. Broberg a shot deflected to the near side. Holloway's on it. Holloway, right wing circle, down low. Here's a stuff attempt. Neighbors and a save. Wedgwood, rebound to the near corner. Holloway trying to get it. Tays will send it down the ice. It'll go all the way for an icing this time. And a whistle with 1:34 to go. In period 3, we'll see if Jim Montgomery wants to use his timeout here and get his big guns fresh and reloaded with 94 seconds left. And an important, at least, point up for grabs here for St. Louis, but it's looking unlikely that they'll get it. Robert Thomas had a good try a moment ago, sliding in on the far wall. It doesn't look like the timeout's going to be used by Montgomery. So face off to the left of Wedgwood. Thomas won it back. Holloway on the near side up to the point. Mayu gives it right back. Holloway to the net off the stick of Nelson. It goes out of play. And with 1:27 now to go in the third, another face off in the O-zone for the Blues. Well, look at this try by Big Val for the empty net. Mayu got a stick in there when he tried to let it go. Could have been the difference as to if it hit the target or not. So now Thomas here back out for this draw against Nelson. 1:27 to go here in this third period. Blues down 2. Avalanche trying to win the President's Trophy. Face off here to the left of Wedgwood. Long dramatic pause. And off the draw, it's played back to Holloway from Thomas. To the back, Mayu shot. Knocked down by Neighbors to the near wall. It's played up by Nelson, not out. Holloway was able to stymie that. Back to the near corner. Neighbors trying to keep it. Got kicked along to Thomas in the trapezoid. Put it to the far wall for Snuggerud. Final 70 seconds of regulation. Snuggerud for Thomas in behind. Deflected off his blade, but it's taken by Holloway. Holloway to the far point away from Broberg. He has to get back out. It's rolling towards the empty net. It'll go wide. As now with under a minute to go, Mayu trying to move it up ahead here for the Blues. On the far wing, hits Holloway. Chipped over the line, Thomas again. Tried to play it in the slot. It was behind Mayu, who had to backhand it to the far wall, and Broberg will ring it around the goal. Final 40 of this one. On the near side, Berggren. Up to the point, Mayu shot deflects off Holloway's stick to the far corner. Thomas is on that. Played it back down low. Neighbors around the goal to the near side to our right for Holloway. Back behind the trapezoid. Out of the reach of Thomas. Has to get it at the half boards. Up top now, Broberg. Long shot. Blocked down in front. Ricochets back out to center. Final 20 here in this game tonight. Here's Thomas dropping it back off for Broberg. His pass missed. And on the near side, it's taken back by Mayu. As the Blues here gonna drop this game in a regulation to the Avalanche, as they've just iced the puck as well. With 10.9 to go, the fans will make their way to the exits, and the Colorado Avalanche will skate out of here with a 3-1 victory on the road in St. Louis. So the Blues get another opportunity Thursday in this building against Winnipeg. They're going to need some help, though, for this all to even back out. The Flames will head to Colorado to take on the Avalanche on Thursday, a building in which they just lost 9-2 in a week and a half ago. Final face-off here to the right of Hofer, won by the Blues, and Parayko will just control it as the clock will wind out. It hits zeros, and the Colorado Avalanche have won the President's Trophy in this NHL season. So 51 wins on the year for the Colorado Avalanche. They clinched the Central Division title. They clinched the top seed in the Western Conference. And they end up clinching the President's, or they don't end up clinching the President's Trophy after all this. My apologies, as the Bruins did not defeat the Hurricanes in regulation, so the Canes still have life. So after all that, I beg your pardon on that, as it wasn't just a regulation win that they needed, but Colorado does in fact clinch the top spot in the Western Conference and the Central Division title, and that means a playoff matchup has been set. The Dallas Stars will take on the Minnesota Wild in round number 1. Still undetermined as to who will have home ice in that series. And then Colorado will await whoever gets the final wild card spot in the Western Conference. A recap of the scoring in this game here tonight. Val Nichushkin opened it up with 16-11 into this game with his 16th of the year from Taze and Malinsky on a tip. And then Marty Necas in the final 28 of the first, 37th of the year from McKinnon and Alekinen. Big Val shorthanded from Nelson. He went through the legs past Joel Hofer. And then Robert Thomas, the lone goal for the Blues, his 22nd of the year from Lindstein and Snuggerud, as the Avalanche walk out of here Central Division champions at a 3-1 victory over St. Louis. So I'll be back with you on Thursday from Buffalo as the Sabres host the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are just 2 points out of a playoff spot with a shootout win tonight in Detroit. Buffalo trying to win the Atlantic Division. It's a 3-way tie at 102 points between Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and Montreal. It'll be a fun night of hockey ahead in the Eastern Conference on Thursday. As for this Western Conference, it is currently a 5-point deficit for the Blues still after this loss tonight, as they only have 5 games remaining. The Kings sit in the final spot at 83. Nashville and San Jose on their heels at 82 and 81. And Winnipeg as well is currently sitting at 80. They'll play the Blues on Thursday. Blues have an opportunity to tie Winnipeg in the standings then. And if they could get some help with some losses for the Kings and the Preds, perhaps they'll be able to salvage this one loss here to Colorado. But at the moment, it doesn't look great for St. Louis's playoff hopes. So they lose this one 3-1 on home ice to the Avalanche. My name is Jaric Rubel. Thank you all for spending this penultimate Tuesday night of the NHL season with me. I'll talk to you again Thursday from Buffalo as the Sabres host the Blue Jackets. Again, a 3-1 final here tonight in St. Louis as Colorado trumps the St. Louis Blues. I'll talk to you all on Thursday. Like I said, so long and good night from Enterprise Center.